What are your crimes, Mark? Yes, what are your crimes, Mark? Did you beat your wife? Did you kick a pup? We'll find your crimes or make it up. Did you laugh at Hubbard? That's not nice, and now you'll have to pay your price. So what are your crimes, Mark? What have you done? Oh, it's too late now. Fair game's begun.
I am squeaky clean. As the head of an intergalactic broadcast empire, I always have to make sure that I'm on the straight and narrow. If I had any crimes, I'd be the first to tell you. Well, maybe not the first, but I'd tell you. Hey, this is Mark Bunker. We're here at Xenu TV, broadcasting throughout this entire sector of the galaxy and headquartered right here for the time being in the galactic capital. There you go, Clearwater, Florida. It's exciting here, I tell you. Exciting. Got a big meeting tomorrow night at the Clearwater City Council, and I believe I'll be showing up. I have a few choice words I'd like to share, and oh boy, I tell you, not just on Scientology. Okay, there's going to be some people who are going to be upset about this, but I was watching the Monday afternoon work session last night, and I got sidetracked from watching the Scientology story because the council brought in the Florida Surgeon General. He is a person that was roundly criticized when he was brought here to Florida because he's a COVID denier and, just sharing a lot of the feelings of RFK Jr. And I don't think somebody like that should be in charge of health. I mean, he refused to wear a mask. He was saying, don't get vaccinated. Herd immunity is what you need. So that type of thing bothers me, especially when 1,193,615 people died during the COVID epidemic, the worst disaster of its type in the nation's history. So it's good to have him in the council telling the city that, hey, all those studies over the years that say fluoride in the water is good for you. Just as a thought, let's just try this out for a while. Just pretend that you haven't read any of those, and then keep your mind open when I say, don't put fluoride in the water. So I don't know. I'm not an expert, but I rely on the experts, including, still in our own federal government's website, it still says it's fine. And that reports saying don't put fluoride in rely on studies where they're putting twice as much as the recommended dosage in other countries than we do here. Anyway, I get my blood boiling. But that's not why you're here. You're here because we're going to goof on Scientology. I got you. We're going to do that. Don't worry. The rest of this is all about goofing on Scientology. As a matter of fact, I haven't looked to see who's here. I may have driven some people away already. But I see here that we got Bridge 82 here in 1872. I'm sorry. I had the number of people dead from COVID like that, tip of my tongue, which is remarkable. But I can't read Bridge 1872. Now I can because I'm paying attention, and I apologize for misnumbering you, miss. All right. And Kelly, of course, is here to welcome everybody and be the incredible hostess that she is. Everybody. Applaud Kelly. Thank you. Cat's Meow is here. How about that? Hey, Cat. Nice to see you. And is that, what's your cat wearing? It looks like a pilot in a World War II plane. Let's see. YouTube watcher here. Good morning or good morning. Well, it may be morning where you are. It's not here. It's still 10:21 at night here in on TGAC. Goblin AFK. Hey to you. So I expect us to have some fun tonight. I got the Florida Surgeon General rant out of my system. But somebody may have to hold me back tomorrow if he's back to give some more comments, which I think he will be. If we have to share the same chambers together, it could come to blows. But I don't think so. I think he's safe. But are the people of Florida safe with him in charge? Oreo Ritz, hello. We made it to Wednesday indeed. Look at this, Nurse Lori. Nurse Lori is. I'm happy you're here because you may have heard I'm ranting about our Surgeon General here, and I could use the help of a nurse almost any day, but when I'm dealing with the Florida Surgeon General, especially true. Lupita, everybody wave to Lupita. Hey, look, Kim White says, hey to you too. Oh, there's a doggy to balance out the kitties. Nikki never in. Afternoon here in Australia, 1:21 p.m. Nice to chat with you here from across the planet. Let's see. Okay, I think I've welcomed everybody that I can see here, and I really appreciate you stopping by. Oh, breaking news. I had a second sale today at the merch store. So business is booming. And I created a little thank you video that I'll send out to folks like the two people who have already purchased something. They got a lovely festive Xenu TV thank you video from me. And you could too, if you just bought a mug or a t-shirt or a hat or a mouse pad, you got a wide range to choose from. You've got Wise Beard Man, you've got Bunkinetics, you've got all sorts of things. What are your crimes? How about that? And Xenu's Playhouse. Oh man, the place is filled with merch. But I'll stop pimping that. I was just happy that I was able to, slap together a little video today. I was just going to send a picture, but then the program said, no, you can't send a picture. I have to send a video. So I turned the picture into a video. Vaccines save lives. Thank you so much. We need people like you in charge of healthcare here in Florida. Not this dope that our current council invited to come in and convince the rest of the people on the council to do something unwise. Make Clearwater clear again. That's on merch. Make Clearwater clear again. Mecca, MCCA, Mecca. Let's see. Haggis Basher. Cheers to you. Nice to have you here. Is this Paul Haggis that you're bashing? So I thought at first that it was the dish haggis. I thought, maybe you hate that because it's horrible, but I don't know, maybe it's Paul Haggis. Either way, you're welcome here. Know the food. Okay, very good. Very good. Paul Haggis, it's a shame that he had his career halted the way it was. And I didn't follow the case that closely, but as usual, I try to always believe the women in the case. But one thing I regret is he had been planning on doing a TV series, miniseries on, I think, Showtime or one of the streamers about Snow White, and that would have been fascinating to see the whole Meisner story, all the break-ins and all of that, Meisner escaping and going to the FBI and ratting him out, the trial. That would have been an incredible show. And we will probably not see it. Here you go. Rachel's on the ball. Mark for Florida Congress. Fight the rot from the seats. Well, my seat is rotting away itself. But I don't know that I will take on Florida Congress. We had an absolutely spectacular woman who I got to campaign with a little bit. I saw her a couple of times on the campaign trail, and I heard her speak for the first time. And I thought, oh man, this woman is so incredible, and she had the backing of his name's escaping me right now, even though I listen to him all the time. He was one of the big right-wing campaign people supporting Bush and all these folks. And then with Trump, he has written several very funny books just trashing Trump. And he does a regular podcast now, several of them. And so he supported, the one who didn't win the presidential race. And also Whitney Fox, who was running for Congress against somebody who should not be in office. And Whitney was so damn impressive, and she came close. But again, the election this past year, it was just a Republican blowout everywhere. So unfortunately, we do not have her wisdom fighting for us right now as the country is being dismantled. Is anyone still here? I have you all fled because I'm talking about this? Anyway. Whitney Fox was amazing, and I hope she runs again. I think if she does, with the state of the country right now, she'd have a really good chance. Okay, so I went on a rant about politics, about our Surgeon General, and the fact that at least one person on our council wants to strip the water of fluoride. But the most important thing tomorrow for us is the fact that the council is going to vote to give Scientology or sell Scientology Garden Street. And I think that's a foregone conclusion. But I will be there making my case, and hopefully there'll be a lot of other people as well. And, I think it should be an interesting night. And of course, after the meeting, I'll pop on here. We can talk about it, play my comments and whoever else was talking. And we can talk about the aftermath. Truth Social is headquartered in Sarasota, Florida. Well, let's kind of wall off that city then. Okay. So tonight I wanted to distract myself from all of this stuff with some fun media stuff. Hopefully it'd be fun. Scientology hates the press. They hate reporters. They hate journalists. They hate anyone who is willing to say some truth about Scientology and the way they operate. And there are there are a couple German filmmakers who have visited here in Clearwater back in 2000. They came to shoot a documentary about the Scientologist artist Gottfried Gottfried Hellwein. Thank you. I knew I could pronounce it. Who was saying, "Oh, I'm not a Scientologist," but he was, and so they came here to do a story about that. And they asked me to come along with them as they went to his home to knock on his door and ask for an interview. And I said, absolutely, I'd be happy to join you. So I was on the street with my little camera, just filming them knock on the door. And you may have seen this before. I may have shown it to you before. It is a almost as famous as the Zapruder film. The artist wasn't at home, but somebody working in the house, some tradesman, came running out of the house with a hammer and threatened us and hit my camera a couple of times with a hammer. And that made the news. So I think I played this before, but I'm going to play this little newscast again, just so you can see the filmmakers who we're going to be talking about tonight. I have some unseen footage that didn't make it into a documentary they made, and they made a terrific documentary. They've made several, but the one that I recently upscaled to 4K is called Missing in Happy Valley, and it looks like I haven't played it here yet, but it is on my channel and on their channel. So if you haven't seen it yet, I recommend taking a look at it, because it is a really good show with some terrific interviews from some of the great old timers like Stacey Brooks and Jesse Prince. Laura, oops, there we go. You are welcome. Listening and learning. Thank you, Mark. Susan asks, do you know much about how much Pam Bondi is bonding with Scientology? Curious from Australia. I don't personally, but I mean, there certainly have been all the reports in the press. That's what I know. The fact that she's cozied up to them and accepted their support, and then apparently has helped them out. So let's, if you don't mind, let's take a look at this short little newscast about the hammer attack. And then we will get to some of the other footage that these folks shot that has never aired on TV. And in order to do that, what I have to do is just come down here and push this button. Look, it's as simple as this. Or it should be. Come on, you can do it. It's as simple as this.
A crew of out-of-town investigative reporters got some footage they were all not expecting today.
No, a cameraman was attacked by somebody who apparently had nothing to do with the story. Fox 13's Amani Channel is going to tell us what happened.
A warning from a German TV producer.
What if I smash that for you?
Then the attack.
Oh, I'll smash it. You better go. I called the cops.
It happened yesterday in a normally quiet Clearwater neighborhood. Two German filmmakers and one local cameraman say they were working on an investigative story on Gottfried Hellwein, an Austrian artist reportedly now living in the Bay Area.
He left Germany 2 years ago without saying where, and for the last months we looked for him and find him finally here, and wanted to ask him about his relation to the top management of Scientology.
Mark Bunker works for a local Scientology watchdog group. He caught the whole thing on tape.
This is the first time that I'd met these filmmakers. They were in town to shoot this. They stopped by to say hello. They asked me to come along as backup, and I said I'd be happy to.
The German producers say the man who emerged from the house was not the person they were looking for.
At that moment I saw this guy crying obscenities to him, to one of our cameramans and to us, and hit 2 times with this hammer.
Clearwater police say the man involved in the altercation is Richard Bernard and that he happened to be working at the house as an electrician.
They called the police saying that these people were trespassing. By the time the police got there, they were back on the sidewalk. And there were allegations that one person had assaulted another with a hammer. Others said that it never happened that way.
Police did not immediately charge anyone, saying the facts are still unclear. Clearwater police have now forwarded this case on to the state attorney's office, and it may take several weeks before a decision is made whether or not charges will be filed against the alleged attacker, Mr. Richard Bernard. In Clearwater, Amani Channel, Fox 13 News.
Police say they don't know why this electrician got so upset here. Officials at the Church of Scientology say they don't know who this man is and that he is not a member of Scientology or affiliated in any way with it.
Yeah, okay. So when that aired and, the anchor there was saying, and Scientology says they have no idea, he's not affiliated with us. Well, I looked through the Scientology periodicals, and wouldn't you know it, he's listed there as having taken courses. So I called the police and said, here you go. Somebody's lying. And it turns out that if you saw my Clearwater police video, I shared this in there, but when the police stopped after the hammer attack, when they stopped to talk to me and the German filmmakers and ask for our IDs because we were troublemakers working with Bob Minton downtown, they went over and talked to the hammer guy, and they didn't bother to ask him for an ID. And I also called the police after that aired saying, Scientology has no idea who they were, and told them, listen, here he is in these magazines. So the next day they went back and talked to the hammer guy again, and this time asked for his ID. And they found out that on the day of the attack, when the officer interviewed him, the guy gave him a fake name, a fake social security number, and a fake birth date. Why bother checking? We got Bunker's ID. That's all. That was all the important stuff that we needed to collect, for God's sakes. So they finally get his ID, and they find out that he was wanted on some drug trafficking charge in Key West, and they shipped him down there, and he spent a year in jail because of that. But we have no idea who this guy is. We're Scientology. This is just some guy with a hammer. We don't know. Anyway, and that handsome young man, that was me. Is he not the same artist recently seen hanging out with Priscilla Presley? It could be. I think I may have seen something about that. I couldn't say for sure, but I believe there was some story involving him. Nurse Lori says, I remember seeing your footage of this incident. The cop that showed up was not a nice guy. Well, I mean, he might be a nice guy. But, did he do his job? Not really. I mean, if you show somebody a video of you being attacked with a hammer, I'm sorry, he refused to look at it. So I can't blame him for looking at the footage and deciding he has to go and question hammer guy because he refused to look at it. And then another officer arrived on the scene, and he refused to look at it. I said, I can roll it back. I can show you he comes out of the house with a hammer and hits my camera with it. And, he was threatening us. He didn't want to look at it. It wasn't until a third person showed up who was a lieutenant. He looked at it and then said, somebody go and question hammer guy. And that's when they did that thorough investigation to find out that the guy gave him a fake name. Anyway, am I still bitter? Not really. I just love telling that story because it's just so insane. Dang indeed. Most ethical drug runners on the planet, you said it. Power lies to paralyze. Great investigative skills. Well, I wanted to show you that so you had a sense of who Peter and his partner were. You're going to hear Peter's voice throughout all this footage I'm going to show you now. And it involves them going to Golden Era. So they went to Gold, and they tried to get an interview with David Miscavige. And oddly enough, they weren't able to get one. But they came back the next day, and now, Scientology apparently was doing a little more research on them. So they sent out the attack dog. And we're going to see Ken Hoden, the Reverend Ken Hoden, who you can tell when you watch this video, he's a man of the cloth. So Ken Hoden is just going on the attack, and he's on a rampage here, but that's not unusual for him, apparently. I don't know if you're familiar with the Lawrence Wuldersheim trial back in the 90s. Lawrence Wuldersheim won a judgment against Scientology. It was like $2.5 million plus another, I think it was like $28 million in punitive damages. So he was getting a lot of money. And Scientology had a mantra, not one thin dime for Wuldersheim. And there's video of them marching and chanting that, protesting this award. And ultimately it was whittled down to, again, a couple $1 million. But they paid it. So he got a lot of thin dimes. And Ken Hoden made a scene in court during a hearing in the Wuldersheim case. In fact, I dug up the news story about it the other night, and I thought I'd share this with you. To do that, let me share the screen. Hey, I'm going to do this. Share screen. Smooth, Mark, smooth. So let me put this up here. Even smoother. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? You're not seeing this, are you? Nope, nothing being there. Remove. Okay, I'm trying. Man, oh man. Oh, here it is. Well, now I'm confused. Because I'm putting it on the stage. Add to stage again. And yet it's not popping up. Anyway, I tell you what, you don't have to read this. Let me just quickly read you the story from my screen here. And I don't know what Scientology is doing, but they're making me have all these technical problems. I'm sure it's Scientology gremlins, although you could call David Miscavige a Scientology gremlin. All right. So the article from the UPI is called "Scientology Leader Expelled from Courtroom, Los Angeles." The president of the Church of Scientology in Los Angeles was expelled from court after he objected to the reading of papers describing the group's central religious practice. And in fact, Tory was in the courtroom for this too. This was when they were going to be reading from OT3. So Scientology packed the courtroom to the gills with Scientologists who all started making a ruckus as soon as they started to read from this. And so once this happened, well, let's see. A bailiff quickly escorted the Reverend Ken Hoden from the courtroom Thursday after he raised his hand in a bid to stop a witness from reading church policy letters, which described the group's central practice of auditing. The reading came during a multi-million-dollar fraud trial against the group. "I object," Hoden said. "Someone's got to object. They're putting the beliefs of the church on trial." Glancing at Hoden and then at the bailiffs, Superior Court Judge Ronald Swearinger ordered Hoden from the courtroom with one word: out. As Hoden walked from the courtroom, another man in the courtroom, who identified himself as a Baptist minister from Milwaukee, joined him. "I'm not a Scientologist," said Dr. Leo Champion, pastor of the Fellowship Missionary Baptist Church in Milwaukee. That's what he said outside of court. "But I'm here because religion's on trial. When one church is threatened, they're all threatened." Well, I did a little search on this guy last night, Dr. Leo Champion from the Fellowship Missionary Baptist Church. He was a friend to cults everywhere, it seems. He was over at, the Unification Church, talking about, what a great program they had. So it sounds like he's one of these people that Scientology was able to hire to, to say, it's a real religion. But Hoden said that he feels the Scientologist constitutional rights were violated because testimony about its central religious practices is allowed as evidence in the trial of a $25 million lawsuit filed against the church by former member Larry Wollersheim. "It's like taking the pages out of the Bible and putting them on trial," said Hoden. And Wollersheim sued the church in 1980, claiming he spent 11 years at about $100,000 in training, only to find the church's promises of higher intelligence, supernatural powers, and great business success were false. Imagine that. Attorneys plan to seek a temporary restraining order in U.S. District Court to stop the Wollersheim trial on the grounds that the church's constitutional rights are violated. The organization also seeks a court order that would allow it to keep secret church files on Wollersheim out of the trial. Scientology attorney Earl Cooley has vowed, we're going to hear a little from Earl Cooley tonight as well. He was one of their big attorneys who often appeared on TV, and we're going to listen to a radio show with him later, him and Heber together. But Earl Cooley vowed he will go to jail rather than turn over the files to Wollersheim's attorneys. And last week, the state Supreme Court rejected a church appeal to keep the file out of the trial, and Swearinger said it would have to be turned over. That was the judge saying that. So, they created quite a ruckus, and as Tori has shared, she was there making noise herself, and we'll get her back on here and have her talk about that again. Oh boy, look at this. Painter girl. A Wise Beard Man shirt. Oh yes, I think I sent you the video. So thanks. That's right. Make sure to send in some pics. You can be featured right here. Smoker says, "Hey, Mark, hope you're having a good night." Well, technically not that great, but otherwise, it's a good night. I'm having a nice time. So those are, the cast of characters for these short videos I'm going to play you. Again, this is the German filmmaker Peter Reichelt. I'm not sure how it's pronounced. But he is outside of Golden Era, and Ken Hoden comes driving up to confront him in this video, which I know is going to play properly if I just push this button. See, it's that simple. Wait a minute. It's not that simple. Oh, no, it is. It is that simple. There we go. So, picture quality isn't great. Once they get up toward the camera, it's fairly watchable. I can't promise this is going to be 4K quality. And I cleaned up the sound on this because it was windy and the sound, you could barely hear it. So the sound may seem a little artificial from time to time, but it's worth hearing the exchange.
Well.
Hi.
So are you recorders? Recorder? All right, so listen. Yesterday you came onto our property and you said that you weren't a reporter. You weren't here to do a story.
Hey.
You gave a false name. Could you please explain why you did that?
What happened? Come on.
Your name is Mr. Rifle, right?
We only talk to Mr. David Miscavige. That's my only statement for
Your
today.
name is Mr. Reichel. You came onto our property.
We said yesterday we only want to talk to Mr. David Miscavige. You said no, and so we don't talk anymore together. That's it for today.
Here's what I don't understand. You came onto our property. You gave a false name.
That's a lie.
All right? Then you said you weren't a reporter. You weren't doing a story. You were a tourist here on a vacation.
That's
Just
a lie.
Do a tour.
That's a lie.
All right? Then you said, listen, you're false accusing.
Where's David Miscavige?
All right. Then we find out.
Where is David Miscavige?
Also, number two, I don't know if you know this, but we have filed a complaint with the police department and with the FAA because you were flying a helicopter over their property at a dangerous height over kids.
Where is
That's
David
illegal in
Miscavige?
America.
This is a Scientology school. Do you think it's a Scientology school? What kind of school do you think it is?
Hover over to little children, and basically we asked you yesterday. I says, listen, be truthful with us, or you weren't truthful with us.
So where's David Miscavige? I asked you yesterday, where's David Miscavige?
You have to go and be truthful with us. In fact, actual fact, you lied to us.
The actual fact is that this school up in the mountain belongs to your organization. That's
The
correct.
matter is that what this school is a school for children. The
For
fact
you
that
children?
You went and hired.
You know that is a rehabilitation project compound. You know that is a camp for prisoner. It's a prisoner camp.
Their lives at risk. That's against the law. And
You see,
all right.
you know what is in that there? It's a
Notified first. Our problem with it is, why did you lie to us yesterday? Why did you come on the property and say you were a tourist? You weren't doing it.
we never said that. We said we want to talk to Mr. David Miscavige.
Heard exactly what you said.
And we heard exactly what you said. That's
The
fine.
truth of the matter is, you
We
came
don't
on the
discuss
property-
with you. We discuss only with David Miscavige anything.
Now, I'm going to ask you a question. My name is Ken Hope
That's
from
fine.
the Church of Scientology. What is your name?
I think you know the name.
You won't give us your name.
Yeah, if you have a good, you have such a good secret agency. You have to hide a rehabilitation project for it. You have to hide a prison camp here. You know,
What do you have to
you have to hide a prison camp here, and we want to find the prison camp. You can show us where the prison camp is.
Nothing to hide, right?
You have to hide everything here. Why are you harassing us? Why are you putting dogs in the back?
Hey, listen.
Why are you putting dogs? You are harassing us. You staying on front. You came on us. You are harassing us. You have a big Shepherd dog. You see, I'm a German citizen, you know?
I know you're.
Yeah.
You know something?
You're a United States citizen. And what are you doing here? You have a dog here and
Yeah, you're an American.
You know?
And the fact of the matter is, you lied to us.
you lie. You're lying all the time.
Blank.
You're lying all
You're
the
going to
time.
write a book. I know what your book's going to say. It's going to be full of lies. You're going to say all sorts of things happening out here. In actual fact, what exactly
We did it yesterday. We want to
Stop.
talk to David
like
Miscavige.
a friend, like a girlfriend, you want to take a tour. You say, we're just tourists from Germany. We're on a month-long vacation. We're out here to visit. The fact of the matter is, you lied. You said you weren't here to do a story. You didn't go to visit the other church.
And you-
But you did.
No, you lied. You said this is a film studio. That's no film studio.
The fact of the matter is, that's a film studio.
This is the world headquarters of Scientology. You have here the world headquarters of Scientology. That's it.
Attention.
That's it. We break it to the point.
That's the fact of the matter.
You see, we break it to the point. This is the world headquarters of Scientology. David Miscavige is living there. He is the boss of Scientology. He is your boss. So let us talk with him together. It's a story about David Miscavige and your organization. This is the intent.
What the real story is.
And we only talk again furthermore with Mr. David Miscavige. That's it for the moment.
All right. Well, that is part one. And they found parts 2 and 3 in their raw footage. So they had me clean up this other footage as best as possible. Again, image quality is really poor, and there's a big time code on the video. But this is the only working copy they have yet, because Ken not only confronted them there, but then he started following them around, and you'll see that this escalates. So let's look at part 2. Wait a minute, you lousy stinking. There we go. Oop, try it again. Smooth.
Put your camera down. Gentlemen, you're on private property. Put us to leave. The fact of the matter is you earlier came on the property. You lied about the fact of who you were. You said you were purely at first. In actual fact, I asked you if you were for the media. You were not. You refused.
I have
asked you to leave.
You will not leave. This is the yellow sign.
I have asked you to leave. I have informed you that this is private property, and you have not left.
I don't believe it to be private.
All right, gentlemen, he does not believe that it's private property. The fact of the matter is this is private property. These gentlemen are from Germany. They're not American citizens. They will not abide by the law in America. I'm asking you to leave. You are on private property. What you did today was you endangered the children's lives at that school by flying at 175 feet over the property in a helicopter. You know that it's illegal. You know that the FAA says the limit is 500 feet and that's it. I'm giving you one last warning. Are you going to leave, yes or no? Fine. I'm placing you under citizen's arrest right now.
Why are you so crying? There's no reason why. So,
I'm placing you under citizen's arrest right now. You are violating the law. You are trespassing.
You are blocking out the way out.
You are not blocking. They may move that car. They have refused to leave.
Us.
Nobody is blocking you.
You're blocking us. We want to leave and you are blocking us.
There's nobody blocking you. You are putting here. You're a deficient witness. The fact of the matter is you have violated the law.
Let's just pause for a moment here. Lara FM is saying Martin Hebchit was sitting on the tractor there, who's originally from Germany. What can you tell me about him? I'm not familiar with Martin. And Mike Brown as well. Kelly says Mike is out there filming. Yes, Power, he is in the black pants walking away. Okay, that is Mike Brown. The kid in the black pants filming is Mike Brown. He did a video on this. Oh, okay. So was he in Scientology at the time, or was he a critic? Mike Brown is Rosemary's son. Okay. And Laura says he was sent to the ranch. This would be Mr. Hebchit, Martin. He was sent to the ranch to handle all the harvesting and provender of the vegetables that were going out to all the, or vendor, I guess, harvesting and vendor of the vegetables that were going out to all the executive organizations and gold base. Okay, interesting. And Mike Brown was definitely in the Sea Org at that time. All right, well, let's get back to this.
You are arresting you. We have the whole thing on video. You will not leave. And the fact of the matter is, if you haven't been truthful with us, you came here, you said you were somebody else other than what you are. You sneak onto our property. That's illegal. You can't do that.
And you are a liar.
I am not a liar. The fact of the matter is, I've requested you to leave. You won't leave. The fact of the matter is, you flew over our property with a helicopter.
Yep.
That is illegal in America. Okay, that's it. You're not going.
Yep, on the shooting. Okay.
All right, that's fine. We're gonna.
Right,
You're not going anywhere.
Brown.
Until the cops get here.
Okay.
I warned you. I have the whole thing on video. You won't leave the property. Not okay.
I can look it. Okay, we can be leaving. Get out of here. Get out of here. Your block everything out, but you are arresting German peoples. You are not allowed to do that. You are not allowed to block us, you know?
You're on our private property right now. I asked you to leave. You would not leave.
You wanted to leave, and you said you put the car there. You are renting out. After right of my gap, but double question.
And walk away.
Well, we're gonna wait till the police come. They've been called.
Okay, fine.
By the way, the guy in the blue jeans, plaid shirt, and the sunglasses there on the right, I think I may have seen him across the street from the Celebrity Center at the first picket I went to in '99. There were two guys who I caught on camera that were watching the protest from across the street, and they both looked like they were PIs. And I came up, I got their license plate on camera, and I was shooting video of them as they slowly got into their car and drove away. But looks a lot like that guy.
All right, and then you're gonna explain why you flew over the school at a dangerous height. You're gonna explain why you came in here. If I told you to move on private property, you didn't move.
That's better.
Oh, Mike.
See, what you're doing is you're betraying us. You're betraying German people. Excuse me, sir. This is here on the open street. Here's an open street. You don't let us go. You're saying we want to leave, and what you say and what you're doing is you're blocking the road. Wherever don't come, you're blocking the road.
Sorry, now. Please, you can explain your story to them. They're very fair. They'll do what's right. Fact of the matter is, when I was up there on the property before you came on, I says, "Can you go on a tour?" I said, "No, you cannot go on a tour." So then you drive onto our property. You come onto our property and say, "You must leave." You don't leave, you photograph. Now, you can pass on the police about it.
You know, we're parking the depot away, okay?
By the way, if you're in this situation, do not run down a Scientologist.
또 이제부터
I don't think they took the videos off of YouTube.
뭐다?
I was looking at them just the other night. I have to check to see if they're gone now. Well, that's part 2. And I'm going to smoothly go into part 3, where the police arrive. And this is you're just gonna be in awe at how beautifully I handled this transition here. Here we go. We're gonna play this right now. Boom. Oh, see, just like that.
Does he understand exactly what happened? A gentleman by the name of Reichel came to our property. It's a film and sound studio. He asked to do a tour. He said he was on vacation from Germany, and he was just a tourist, and he was here just to tour the property. I interviewed the person, talked to him for a while, found out in actual fact he was not here to interview the property. As a matter of fact, he lied what his name was.
And you told us
Here for other purposes.
your policy.
And he is here to basically come here and harass us, which they did do today. They flew a helicopter at about 200 feet over.
So what's
all
about your
southern Sweden.
policy that the window is just
Absolutely
people,
American.
local people? What about the policy you told us that this tour is only for local people, not for foreigners, not for other guys who are coming from outside, not from Habitat, but from some sectors. Okay, what about this policy you told us? 3 guys of you told us about this policy. What about this policy? What about your policy to be unbranded? What about your policy to kick us out? What about the policy to...
Well, I'll tell you what, here's the policies. They're very, very clear. What we did is we say hello to people. I tell them what my name is. They tell me what their name is. You would tell me what your name was, would you?
Do you know my name?
No, I don't know your name. You wouldn't tell me what your name was. As a matter of fact, you told me you're here on a vacation.
So what about this policy? What about the real policy?
The policy is
the policy that only local people are allowed to come to take this tour. And so what's so secret at the tour that only very old people...
No, here's what you do. You should tell it to the police, because you're going to be here, Charlotte.
Sure. So, just this question. What's about your policy and what's about this school up, down, up to the hill? What's about Mr. Caballo? What he says? What about other guys saying what happens up? What about other things happens?
Much. Ja, that job televisie brengen to stop that. That television.
So we're waiting for the police, and I hope everything will be clear after that. So we are not on private property, everything is fine, and they arrest us, they don't let us go. I don't know what it is. I think it's one of their policies they have, like they don't like foreign people, like they don't allow foreign people take us tour to the studio. And so we're waiting. So that's the public road coming up from Gilman Hot Springs, where the headquarters is located. On the left side there's a big public golf court, and on the right side near the mountains there are some other buildings. They say they're administration houses. And this road, I think it's called how does it called? Castle Canyon Road, right? It goes up into the mountains, and at the end of the road there is a camp, a kind of school, they told us. Other people say it's not only a school, it's a kind of concentration camp where they are arrested, where they were arrested. And there are a lot of people who told what happened there, what happened with the people. And there's a man called Tabayoyo, and he was the architect, the builder of this area. It's called Happy Valley, and it's a real happy valley where people are arrested, and they say it's a school, and they educate their kids, which kids, and they don't answer the questions when you ask them what happened up on the hill. And so we have to ask, and we don't get any answers. That's it. They just arrest us. That's all. See, they blocked the street with this yellow big thing, very strong. And they block another way with a white car. They're following us with 4 cars from San Jacinto. And they block the car with their human bodies. So, perfect, and we are waiting for the police, but we're still waiting. They're not coming, so I don't know what happened now. Maybe we have to sleep here, or we have to camp here, and I have some sweeties. So that's it.
I actually tried driving up there at one point, long time ago, and I couldn't get close to it because the road ran onto a reservation, and the security on the reservation said unless you got plates for, unless you live here on the reservation, you can't come in. So
You work for the German government? Did you work for the German government?
You work for the German student body. I forget what you call it over there. You work for the government? You work for the government?
Which party? Student?
Yeah, isn't there a student party?
No, we have no student parties.
I thought there was a
You
student
should
party.
be better informed about Germany. Or,
Well, perhaps I should be.
yeah, but I think, yeah.
Well,
Better.
you're not affiliated. You're not associated with the student party over there.
I don't know what you mean.
Oh, is this the youth party or it's the young party, young Democrats, the young? I'm an American. I'm not German. You know.
Yeah, so I think it's your job to be better informed.
Well,
Will
perhaps
public
you're right.
officer, capitulation?
No, not at all. No.
What's your job?
What's your job? That's what I'm
What's
trying to
your
find
job?
out. Do you work for the government?
It's your job to harass us. It's your job to block us.
No, not at all.
So what are you doing here?
No, I work here.
Well,
Where do you live?
and we can go.
Where do you live? No, because you trespassed. So we're going to sort this out with
Your
the local
job
police.
is to block us, right?
No, it's not. Our
why
job is
we
basically
can't-
to find out what you're doing here.
So why we-
I believe this was 98. Might be a little bit earlier, but I think that's about right.
You came all the way to Germany, to the countryside here. For what reason? You're not a tourist, are you?
blocked from you?
Are you a tourist?
To be blocked by you?
Are you a tourist?
To be blocked by you?
I'm asking you a question. Are you a
I'm
tourist?
asking you a question.
You're not a tourist. You lied to us. If that's not.
I'm asking you a question.
Do you work for a TV company?
So I have to tell you nothing.
Do you work for a TV
Tell you
company?
anything.
Well, see, I'm very healthy. Here's my card. I'm going to give you a card. You can easily find out who I am. Besides that gentleman that's here, yeah?
I appreciate.
Well, here's a card. I got nothing to hide. So, there you go. Now, who are you? Who are you?
You can own
I'm
general. What's your job? What's the job of a general manager?
Well, you know something. You have a lot of questions, but you won't tell me your name. You won't tell me where you're from. You won't tell me if you work for the government. Have you been hired to come over here and do a slam on the Church of Scientology?
It's a golden era production. Your job.
All right. Have you been asked to come over
So
here and lie about?
So your job is to block us.
I'll tell you what. Okay.
No, let me ask you. You're just staying here.
CK, I'll ask you a question, and I'll answer, and then you will go back and
No, I answer you.
No, we'll trade answers.
I think 1998 is when I think this is.
First question is.
I take the question and you
Oh, did you tell me you were a tourist?
What did you tell me what your job is?
Oh yeah. Well, you're gonna answer mine. I'm gonna answer that question.
Okay, what's your job?
All right. First, you gotta answer mine.
No, what did I ask you first? What's your job?
I'm the general manager.
Okay, what's the job of a general manager from Golden Era Productions? What is written down of your business card?
We make films and videos for churches and Scientology. That's what we do.
What kind of films?
And what I'd like you to do now is answer one of my questions.
Okay, what kind of film? I'm not finished.
All right. One of my questions is
I would
do you
to get them answers.
do you work for the
No,
government?
I don't know.
Do you work for the government?
What the job of a general manager? I think the job of a general manager is to block us.
Excuse me just a second.
Paul.
Now, do you work for the government? That's what I really want to know, because that way I can contact your superior. You must have a superior.
So you work
do-
for?
Do you get paid to
Dated
come
me-
here? Do you get paid?
We get,
Do you get paid to come here and do this?
you get.
I want to know if you get paid by a newspaper or a magazine or a TV station, or do you get paid by the government to come
Mr. Holden,
and lie about the Church of Scientology?
Mr. Holden, you got paid to come here to block us. All these guys are paid to make this photo.
No. You know something? You asked me two questions. I gave you an honest answer.
What is the job of this
I gave you
people?
an honest.
What is the job of these people standing here? They are paid by the Church of Scientology. From who do they get their wages? Who paid this guy shooting me with a video camera the whole time? He belongs to the Church of Scientology.
The fact of the matter
That's
is,
your policy.
I'm just
policy of the
asking you a question, ma'am.
Ask you just
Do you work for the government? Do you work for the government?
I don't have to tell you anything.
You don't have to tell me anything. But I would like to ask you a question. Do you work for the government?
I don't have to tell you anything and I have to correct you. And you're not able to answer the question.
Yeah, I suggest you explain
So
everything
what's so secret?
to the sheriff's office.
What's so secret with this organization? What's so secret with this area? What happened here? So then explain to us what's wrong with all information. What's wrong? You said that all the movies are lying.
Do these things still happen? I'm sure there's still confrontations like this. You do every once in a while see something like this, like when John Sweeney did his pieces for the BBC. They were following him everywhere. They were coming up and confronting him, and that would have been well when Mike Rinder had left, which was trying to think now. Was that somewhere around 2012 or so? Anyway, I don't know that there's that many more news crews going out, but if you do have a camera and you're pointing it at Scientology, they will be following you everywhere. And I think they have learned not to act like jerks in front of the camera, but they'll still act like jerks. We just don't have footage of it now. Hey, you can move again.
No. This guy who's filming me the whole time and from the Sea Org organization, he wears a blue blouson, jacket, something like that. And there's a special sign on the left side, 2 wings. And in the middle of 2 wings, there's a star. And it's blue, and that's the sign for the Sea Org organization. And that's the elite. Rest of them are working there. So I'm proud that all best guys are here.
Look here, our trespassers on our property. Mr.
So I just did what's called a Google search, and the BBC John Sweeney show aired in 2007. So that's the most recent one I can think of where they were behaving like this in front of cameras. Come on.
And over here is the hey, hold on. Go over there. I'll be looking in a minute. Mr. Collins? Look here, our trespassers on our property. Mr. Hoden over here is the hey, hold on. Go over there. I'll be looking in a minute. Mr. Collins? No, I'm not. Who's Mike Collins? He's a security guard at the property where the children are.
Bring him down here. I need to speak to him.
Okay, good. Now I'll radio him right now, sir.
All right.
Actually, show him television. And you know, for programs like ABC will work together the ABC out. Well, you folks therefore. Yeah, they need.
Jeg observerede det at det blev blokket når når det samme det blev der på det blok Easter what they say we are free of the Friday project they will change the car then they get a big white map they put the van direct across and they put 3 guys there that you're not released and locally all sides so every single company can order it or at a time that var even the cargo but what the first time they're doing it. He could have skipped was 40 minutes.
Block yellow time, and we rest it up when we.
That's like us. Oh, pushing up is very down.
This paper flopped and not a van and a yellow one where you put heavy stones away. You know, I don't know the name, but for the yellow.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Like a kind of.
And then another one. I think Mr. Hoden, Love that will be high. He came behind the slot, so facilitate to drive away. All the people get out of the car, and he said to us that everything is private property, we have to leave. And we say, okay, we will leave. No problem. No problem. And after that,
Which one told you have to leave?
Mr. Hoyt. And after that, we didn't have any chance to leave because they had blocked the way with their bodies. And they were very careful that the car touching me.
Everything, they put the car down there. And put the car behind us, they put the car right in front of us and keep it in front of us. Yeah. Relax. See this car, this white? You see this white one there?
And when they did the time that he told them me, Ben, this parked up there, we're sitting here in the middle of the road. Down, can you wonder who else with the two trees? But he could just, yeah.
All right. Well, that was the not very dramatic conclusion of the video. But I assure you, the German filmmakers were not arrested. They were allowed to go on their way. The sheriff's department did not slap them in handcuffs and say, "How dare you? How dare you try to take footage of the Church of Scientology?" I hope you found that interesting. It's always fun to see these confrontations, how insane Scientology is willing to be in front of a camera. And, you know, that's what the training is for, to you know, have you learn how to push people's buttons and to be aggressive and do the finger point. And, you know, not a lot of churches go out of their way to train their members in this, but Scientology does. Lots of folks here tonight is sharing info with us. It was really nice of you to fill in info on some of these people here. And I'm going to have to dig up my footage from '99 to see if that mustachioed guy with the sunglasses is the same one I saw in LA. So I tried to, well, hey, I should do this now. I can't do it right now. But I tried showing video of these two guys that I was positive were PIs. I tried showing it to a few people years ago, and nobody could name them. But now, look at the big wide world of people who are out there ready to identify folks just like tonight. So I'll dig those up. So we've got Haggis, you are welcome. And also, oops, there we go. No, I won't mention that. Well, Kelly thinks it's important that you know that I have an Amazon wish list. Kelly, please stop it. Well, thank you, Kelly. So I've got this radio show I want to play for you tonight as well. This is from, well, let me pull it up here.
A very hot story, the Curtis and Lisa Schlewer show. We've been fortunate enough. Time magazine blew the.
Okay. Let's get that ready there. So this is a kind of interesting show. It was right when the Time magazine cover story hit the newsstand. You know, Time magazine in 1991 published a cover story called Scientology, the Thriving Cult of Greed and Power. And it was pretty hard on Scientology, justifiably. And Scientology went all out trying to destroy Time magazine and took them to court. And they were fighting that tooth and nail for 10 years before Scientology finally lost. But during that period, that lawsuit was enough to cower all other media from doing stories on Scientology. It wasn't until 2008, I think it was, when, it would have been right around there, when South Park did their show on Scientology, and at the end of it said, "Sue me," and they weren't sued. And that's when the media started going, "Oh, I guess we can talk about them again." So thank you, Matt and Trey. So Richard Behar is the journalist for Time magazine who wrote the cover story. And Heber Jensch and Earl Cooley are the fine Scientology spokespeople who just are nuts. But also nuts are the hosts of the show. I trimmed it down a little bit because I find the couple that run in the show a little difficult to listen to. They were Curtis and Lisa Sliwa, married couple who were the founders, I think, of the Guardian Angels in New York. And the real tough guy type of guy, he's talking real tough. And in the first part of the show, he's going to sound like he's incredibly supportive of Scientology, while Scientology president Heber Jensch and Scientology's attorney Earl Cooley are both on to say, "Wow, what a load of crap that article was. They're monsters. They're beasts over there at Time magazine." And then Richard Behar comes on in the second half. Altogether, I think this is about a half hour long. But there's some interesting stuff in it. It's always great to hear from Richard Behar, one of the guys who wrote incredibly important things about Scientology over the years. So let's take a listen to this.
A very hot story, the Curtis and Lisa Sliwa show. We've been fortunate enough. Time magazine blew the lid off on its front cover, an expose, as they claim, on Scientology. We felt, hey, it was pretty much all one-sided. I mean, damn, I would think that I'd be swimming with the fishes deep down in the sea after reading this if you were involved in Scientology. We've seen them out there selling the Dianetics books. We see that a major number of celebrities are involved in their religion. So we felt we wanted to give some equal time to a discussion that's been ongoing. And we have on the line at this point Mr. Earl Cooley, who's the chief counsel of the Church of Scientology International, and Heber Jensch, president of the Church of Scientology International. Are you both with us, gentlemen?
Yeah, right here.
Okay, well, I don't have to tell you much, just looking at that front cover of Time. And Rich Behar, the author, goes on and on. And let's just say, after reading the piece he's written on you guys, I would get the sense you weren't working off the Dale Carnegie How to Win Friends and Influence People. I mean, what's wrong with this piece?
Earl? This Earl here? Yeah, I'm here. This piece is pure trash. It's probably the most striking example I've ever seen of reprehensible corrupt journalism. This man does not find one positive thing to say about Scientology, and in fact, approached this story with the documented attitude that there is nothing positive to say about Scientology. He omits anti-drug and anti-crime programs. He omits help for the abused and neglected children and care for the elderly, earthquake and disaster relief, environmental projects, assistance for the needy and the homeless, and projects and programs for a host of community groups and efforts such as the March of Dimes, Cystic Fibrosis, Special Olympics, and the Red Cross. So with all of that background, you can't find one positive thing to say, then you know that you're dealing with a hatchet man, and that's all that this guy Behar is.
Okay, well, the Guardian Angels, we're familiar with Scientology because in two cities, both in New York and in Hollywood and Los Angeles, our headquarters are just blocks away. We know you as most New Yorkers and Americans know you. You know, people selling the book Dianetics, having that test that they have, the personality test. But in here, I was surprised to see the number of what we call trendoids who are adherents. Tom Cruise, John Travolta, actresses Christy Alley, Mimi Rogers, Ann Archer, Palm Springs mayor and performer Sonny Bono, Jasmine Chicoria, and even Nancy Cartwright, the voice of cartoon star Bart Simpson. Now, how is it that these people have become involved in the Scientology religion?
Well, Ray's found out that, I'll answer that one. They found out that Scientology was something which works. We say Scientology is a road to total freedom, and what you see here that Mr. Behar so assiduously avoided was that we are really at the end of the future. There are a lot of people who find Scientology very workable. We worked with the Guardian Angels out here in Hollywood. I see you folks on the streets all the time. We've done a lot to kind of hold down a lot of crime out here, as a matter of fact. These celebrities and other people have found that Scientology is a workable religion. It isn't just something that you have to believe in. It's something that you live and you work with every day of your life. And when we've taken over well over 100,000 people off of drugs, okay, well, who's harmed by that? It sort of cuts down crime. It cuts down the pushers' monies. It cuts down the problems that one has in the neighborhood and so forth. So, you know, Mr. Behar had that information. And it's just amazing that he chose to completely avoid it. You put your finger on it when you said, look, it's one-sided, and let's hear the other side of it.
All right, now, the points that he does make, though, he states internationally that the church is under investigation in quite a few European countries, Germany, Italy, Spain, and right here in the United States, you had sort of ongoing battles over your nonprofit status, which I understand was revoked. Why do you think that so many investigators are on your guys' cases? I mean, what is it that you're doing that has so enraged them that they're spending thousands of dollars to try to know you do it all of you?
Well, you know, the Church of Scientology is a reform-oriented church. It advocates such things as the elimination of all drugs, harmful drugs from our culture, whether they be street drugs or whether they be dangerous psychiatric drugs designed not to treat anybody but simply to make a person a stupefied robot. The church is also advocating a repeal of the income tax and its replacement with a sales tax. This challenges a $5 billion Internal Revenue Service bureaucracy. That's $5 billion each and every year. Whenever you challenge things that place profits in the pockets of the entrenched establishment, those people who support those dollars and support those entrenched forces rally to their defense. Time magazine has been known for many, many years as coming to the aid of these forces of profit without regard to the impact on society. You mentioned Hollywood. Nobody knows better than the Guardian Angels the problems of drugs and crime that have existed along Hollywood Boulevard.
But Mr. Cooley, this is Lisa Fleewa speaking. The programs that you mentioned, running those type of programs, the various facilities that the Church of Scientology has all over the world, that costs a lot of money. Where does this tremendous amount of money come from?
It comes from the parishioners of Scientology, who are more than happy to make fixed donations to support the programs of the church, and they get in return the benefits of the Scientology services that are offered to them to make them more able, to make them more spiritually aware of themselves, and to make them more effective people, both in their bodies, their minds, and in their spirits.
Okay, well, we've come to know your founder and guiding influence, L. Ron Hubbard, through the many commercials we've seen on TV for the book Dianetics and his other publications. But also, his name is infamous because oftentimes in articles, not just in Time, but in other documentaries or in other magazines and newspapers, you'll always see Sun Young Moon, Lyndon LaRouche, L. Ron Hubbard, cults. Why is it we should believe you're not a cult when so many groups that, track cults claim that you are?
Well, let me just answer that. Can I answer that, Earl? You may certainly do so. I don't mean to...
This is Mr. Heber Jench.
Yeah, right. Look, the point is that Scientology is a religion. The Catholic Church is a cult in India. It's a cult in China. It's a cult in Africa. It's a matter of turf. You know, and that's become a bad word. Cult doesn't really mean anything that bad in the past. To have over 8 million members as we have, and we are located in over 55 countries and translated to 31 different languages, to make such an assertion is absolutely absurd, of course. Scientology is expanding at a tremendous rate. What you're looking at is really a kind of a long-term smear campaign that's been going on trying to hit a number of these different religions. Scientology, being as effective as it is, yeah, it's going to get hit. But Time magazine has a long history of being wrong. I mean, I was just looking through the history, where they made Hitler the man of the year, and Mussolini was a wonderful person, and Goebbels was a great guy, and Stalin was the man of the year, killed 54 million people, on and on and on. They've been wrong before? Well, I'll tell you what, they're dead wrong right now.
Okay, well, the cover story, obviously, in this week's Time, it's out on the newsstand, Scientology. And I am pulling on this issue because, we have seen Scientologists out there in the field. They do have drug rehab units. People have questioned your ability to do so, but you are doing some. But we also know Rich Behar because he's been a writer of other pieces, and he's always struck us as a square guy. So what he really takes to task, though, at length, is the costs of going through the various phases of being a Scientologist.
In other words, do you have to make a financial contribution to the Church of Scientology in order to be a member or to remain a member?
There are fixed donations for services, but many services are given away free, and you have to tithe 10% of your income to be a Mormon. You have to contribute to any church in order to support its programs if you are going to be an active and a dedicated member. The members of the Church of Scientology are more than happy to give fixed donations to support the programs of the church. I only wish that the Church of Scientology had the resources of the Vatican Bank.
Okay, well, I want to thank Earl Cooley, who's chief counsel of the Church of Scientology International, and Herbert G. Jens, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, Herbert Jens, who's president of the Church of Scientology International. Give a dialogue here where there's more talk and more thought about a cover story in Time magazine. Curtis and Lisa Sliwa at day 20. Hold on to your seat.
Thank you.
We are.
I think Herber actually did a decent job. I can't wait to hear from Herber again. Unfortunately, he's not on the rest of this. Now it's Richard Behar.
In the midst of our discussion about Time's cover story on Scientology, got to tell your story, Mr. Sliwa. When we first came about in late 1979, I got through the mail at a time that we desperately needed a donation, with time by L. Ron Hubbard, a founder of Scientology. It was a cashier's check for 5,000 big ones. You know what we did? We put it back in the envelope and sent it back.
Well, we've done that more than once, Curtis.
Oh, yeah.
There was a number of different groups and individuals.
Oh, yeah, we felt that we had to give an opportunity for the Scientologists to defend themselves. Al D'Amato says he's being blasphemed. Scientology says they're being blasphemed. But let me tell you something. It's a little flaky-wakey. I mean, the Scientologists, they definitely get heavy. They got all their head trips. But then again, with Sun Myung Moon and Lyndon LaRouche and a whole bunch of others, oftentimes, it leads down a trail. Sun Myung Moon has ended up being convicted of improprieties. Lyndon LaRouche has been convicted of improprieties. But somehow Scientology has avoided that here in the country. They lost their nonprofit status, that they've avoided the improprieties. So we're going to just have to stay tuned and monitor the progress of that story. But according to Time magazine, they're being dogged all over the world now. And they figure one deck of cards pushed over and the whole house might crumble. We have the guy in question, Rich Behar. I made a mistake once before with Murray Weiss of the New York Post. I questioned his credentials. He was right about Michelle Casson. I should have known better. And it's Rich Behar, who's been a personal friend of ours. This guy is exhaustive in his analysis. I've never known him to do somebody a wrong turn.
Well, he did investigations on us before he even got involved with us. So I know he's very thorough.
Exactly. And Rich...
And he dug up awards and things that we had received that I'd completely forgotten about.
Right. Well, Rich Behar, you are in the eye of the storm. Your front cover story this week in Time magazine on Scientology, man, aren't you a little frightened? Because after reading the pages that you've been able to churn out, makes it seem that anybody who writes against Scientologists
has problems.
Well, Curtis DeLisa, apparently I'm considered what Scientologists call fair game. Which means I may be deprived of property or injured by any means by any Scientologist without any discipline of the Scientologist. May be tricked, sued, lied to, or destroyed.
Mm-hmm. But now, we understand from your piece that it's not only a firestorm here in the United States,
but internationally.
So it is. Governments of Spain, Italy, France, and Canada have raided Scientology in the 1980s. Most of them within the past 4 years. Centers have been closed down. Criminal charges have been filed against more than 100 Scientologists, including major leaders of the church, for everything from coercion to tax fraud to taking advantage of mentally incapacitated people, practicing medicine illegally, a whole host of charges.
Now, Rich, but one of the things, because your specialty, you have a tremendously strong background in economic issues and financial issues. This issue that you raised in the Time cover story on Scientology about misrepresentation, where they have management consulting firms and in a search for legitimacy, they're representing themselves as businesses in which people invest. How widespread is that in the United States?
Well, it's extremely widespread because hundreds of thousands of health professionals, especially dentists, receive regular mailings from these management groups, mostly going under the name Sterling Management, that try to entice them into these workshops and seminars. Sterling is not upfront with its people and with its health professionals. Sterling will not tell them, hey, we're connected to Scientology, and ultimately our goal is to get you into Scientology counseling. You see, this is one of the basic problems with Scientology. If they have such a wonderful thing to offer their people, why aren't they upfront?
Well, now, when you say up front, they have a list of trendoids from Hollywood that would knock your eyeballs out. You list them in your story. But one in particular has himself been a controversial figure, written about in Outweek magazine, the gay magazine. We've seen him up on those posters that they have all over town trying to state that certain people are the gay persuasion. We're talking John Travolta. And you allude in this story that John Travolta may actually be afraid of leaving Scientology because they've threatened to out him and expose what many people have just hinted at about his sexual preference.
Oh, just a little background. The church has a long and court-documented history of what's called culling the PC folders. When Scientologists join the church, they're given PC folders which contain intimate details about their life that's gleaned from counseling sessions. If you defect from the church or cause the church trouble, material from those folders are made public or used against you. So, and what I have done is I've spoken to sources, including the former chairman of the board of Scientology, as well as the former head of security for the church, and they have given me the information I published on Travolta. Specifically, John, according to sources, has feared that if he left the church, this information would be used against him.
Well, now, he recently, in the eye of that controversy, married a fellow Scientologist.
Okay, he didn't marry her, he announced.
Ah, I see. So that's not even become a reality.
No, it hasn't.
I see. Now, also, when we were talking with the PR department of Time earlier in the week, for the first time ever, they expressed to us, when we've contacted them, a concern about your welfare. The fact that they were overly concerned about what the Scientologists are capable of doing. When you first took on this task, you must have known what you were getting into, because there is a certain woman who we also personally...
Paulette Cooper.
You know Paulette?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And, boy, they put her through the meat grinder.
They really did. She suffered tremendously. And the magazine lawsuits, they impersonated Paulette in order to make it seem as if she was threatening the church with a bomb threat.
Wow.
They got her indicted.
Mm.
She wasn't cleared until the FBI raided the church in the 1970s and turned up the documents proving the bomb scheme.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, Rich, you know you have our tactical air support. If you need any assistance or protection, you've got the guys and gals in the red berets, and keep plugging out there. We first read him in Forbes magazine doing those intricate, detailed stories, and now cover story Time magazine this week.
Can I just ask Rich one quick question? I know we've got to go. What do you think it's going to take for this whole movement to be exposed in the United States?
Well, I think it's very important that people wake up. There are victims of this movement all over the place, and there are potential victims. People are getting scammed. It's a very, very dangerous organization. I think the government needs to wake up more to that, as the government all over Europe have woken up to that. I heard Mr. Cooley and Mr. Jenge talk about all the good things the church has done. You know, it's tantamount to a group like the Klan saying, "Hey, we collect canned food for the hungry"? Why didn't you mention it?
Exactly. Exactly. Well, Rich, thanks a lot for being with us this morning. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
That was Richard Behar. He's the author of the Time magazine cover story on Scientology and being brave enough to come on these airwaves to talk about the story with us. Right now, at the Curtis and Lisa Fluer Show at 8:35.
Burn.
We are in the midst of our discussion about Time's cover story on Scientology.
I think this may be the second part repeating again.
Got to tell your story, Mr. Sliwa. When we first came about in late 1979, I got through the mail at a time. I understand that he's been talking with F.M. Vedshed. That's how we have Molinari, the borough president from Staten Island. He, even though he got distant,
The church trouble.
overly concerned about if you need any assistance.
Right now, at the Curtis and Lisa Fluer Show at 8:35.
We are in the midst of our discussion about Time's cover story on Scientology. Got to tell your story, Mr. Sliwa. When we first came about in late 1979, I got through the mail at a time that we desperately needed a donation, with time by L. Ron Hubbard, the founder of Scientology. It was a cashier's check for 5,000 big ones. You know what we did? We put it back in the envelope and sent it back.
Well, we've done that more than once, Curtis.
Oh, yeah.
There was
Yeah.
a number
I'm
of
sorry.
different groups and individuals.
Somehow that second half got repeated here. I apologize for that. I'm going to have to go back and change that file. All right. Well, there you go. I think it's interesting to look back in history and see some of these seminal moments in the Scientology story, like, that Time magazine cover story did a lot of damage to them, and was one of the turning points in this whole battle. That's all I have, but I am here to answer questions, to sing and dance, to just to entertain the masses. So if there's anything you want to talk about, any questions you have for me, go ahead, hit me with them. It means I don't have to be trying to play a video or something and fumbling around going, huh? What? Where's the button? So it's much easier to do this. Tori is live streaming now. How dare she compete with me? Magoo. Well, I think we all should all go and listen to Tori. Because I am all talked out as far as I'm concerned. What music have I been listening to lately? I haven't really been listening to much music at all. It's either news or book on tape. She's interviewing somebody? I think she's interviewing Dylan Blowdrill tonight. I suppose I should know Blowdrill. I don't, though. I'll have to watch the interview. Dylan Gill. Okay, very good. Super cool that I upload these videos and audios from the archive. Yeah, I'm glad I was able to find them and clean them up so they can be heard. Dylan is an ex-Scientologist. I figured that was the case. Have I looked up Aaron Cairo? I have not. Did you mention Aaron to me the other night? And I just don't recall. It sounds familiar. But I haven't had a chance to look up much of anything. I'm scrambling, trying to put something together for this, and occasionally living the rest of my life. Not a lot of time for that, but he's the skateboarding guy. Okay. And Dylan's dad is in the Portland org. What a lovely org. Oh yes, okay. I remember Braille skateboarding mentioned before. Yeah, but I have not. I have not looked them up. I've been busy looking up like Ken Hoden, trying to find out what's going on there. And I believe he's a late Ken Hoden. I believe he's no longer with us. Luke is wondering, when I first got into protesting against the so-called church, that was back in 1998. Actually, I did a interview with Magoo on her channel on Sunday night, and we went through a lot of that history. And there's several videos here on my channel as well. But if you were to go to Tori's channel, you'd hear us yakking all about my background and how I got into it and all the ins and outs of it. But started looking into it in 98, started posting video in 99. And then they came to my house to picket me in mid-1999. And I said, well, no need to hide my face anymore. They know who I am. Kim says, thanks so much, Mark. I'm going to see if Rachel is on at midnight. She is. She will. But I just caught this at the end of her show. I'm going to break it to you now because I know for me, it was disturbing news. But at the end of Rachel's show, Rachel Maddow, by the way, she said, I know that I promised I'd be here every night for the first 100 nights. I'm not going to be here tomorrow. What? But she's got a good reason for it, and I'll let her tell you. But, because it was heartbreaking to find out that, oh, my God, she's breaking her promise to us. She's going to have to stick around through the rest of the Trump administration to make up for that. But she did have a good excuse, and you'll hear it, and you go, oh, well, I hope you have a lovely night. Do I still often come across unknown material in my collection? Yeah, I guess you could say so. Every once in a while, I uncover something. There's things that I've never listened to before, or it's been so long that they're new to me. There are the things that I wish I could find, and I don't have access to anymore. I had a lot of interviews that I did during the period in the when Anonymous was out. I don't think I have many of those interviews or any of them left now because those were on my website. The website no longer exists, and the man who was hosting my website, I'm hoping he's able to find those. I did ask him to see if he still has the site on his hard drives there, and if he could get me the radio shows. Everything else I have, but there were some interesting exchanges on the radio shows, including the one that I find most memorable when I got to be on air with Pat Harney, Scientologist's PR lady here in Clearwater, Florida. And she did not enjoy being on the air with me. Okay, wow, I didn't know they came at you. I'm going to go through and take a look. Oh, yeah, if you haven't seen it, they come to my house and protest me. Do a search on my channel for the Revenge Picket. That's what I labeled it. At the time, in 1999, Scientology had this smart plan to go to the homes of protesters and picket them. How dare you come to our org and picket us? We'll show you. We'll come and picket you. And they did that, especially to a lot of the women at the time, really intimidating or trying to intimidate the women, including a gal that I really enjoyed, Christy Wachter. Christy was from San Francisco in the music industry, I believe. And they would come to her home almost daily. Thank you, Kelly. Kelly's got the revenge picket for you right there. But they would go to her home, it seemed almost daily, and they would say the most horrific things to her to try to bull bait her. A lot of sexual stuff, things like that. And she actually had a tape recorder rolling. She didn't have a camera, but she recorded a lot of the audio. And she got that to me, and I put some of that online. And if I had it now, I'd be able to make it sound good and go through it and see what gems were in there. But that and a lot of other things are missing now. Not lost forever, I hope. Just gone. So during that period when they were doing the revenge pickets, they decided, hey, let's go picket Bunker. We know who he is now. He showed his face at the org. He was there at the Celebrity Center for the first time. We got his license plate number. We know who he is. We're going to his house. So 2 guys showed up with big picket signs, and they had leafleted my neighborhood. Beware your neighbor. Mark Bunker is not who you think he is. And I just took my camera out there and interviewed the guys. One ran away in 3 minutes. The other one stood there for like 20 minutes before he gave up. And then they never came to protest me again. But those we all used to call revenge pickets when Scientology would get revenge on us. Have I tried the Wayback Machine? Now, with the Wayback Machine, I know they can save sites, but would they be saving audio files? I have not tried that. It was years ago I checked out the Xenu TV website, and there were some things there. I guess that was before. I guess I was primarily looking at the LMT website. And I do have a copy of the old LMT website on 3 DVDs, which I did find in all of my stuff here. And that's where I'm getting a lot of these old radio shows from the 80s and 90s. I had those on DVD in real media format, and I was able to convert those, clean them up, and make it a little bit nicer. You just looked. Kelly says, "Hey, there's quite a bit. Thank you for getting that link to me. I will go and dig through it because it would be great to find those. I would absolutely love that." No. Was the revenge picket before Tory got out? No. Tory got out in 2001 when I was here working for the Lisa McPherson Trust in Clearwater. They came to picket me. Oh, no, I'm wrong. I don't know why I was thinking this. She was still in. Because this was May of 99, and she left in 2001? And she tells the story of how they asked her to come and be one of the people protesting me, and she said, "No way, you're making your own enemies by doing stuff like that." So yeah, she was in there. Wait a minute. Hold it. Are you saying there's 584 audios from Xenu TV? Is that what you're finding? I can't imagine that I had anywhere near that, but I mean, it would be pretty amazing. I tell you what, yeah, 2000. I guess you're right. 2000 is when she left. I was thinking of some videos we made in 2001 at the LMT. So, okay, now you've got me excited. Now I just can't sit here. I want to go check out the Wayback Machine and see if I can rescue some of these shows. And if so, we have a bonanza of things to listen to coming up. So everybody, thank you for joining us here. I really appreciate you coming by. It's always fun seeing you all and, getting information from you like, hey, there's a lot of stuff from my lost site out there. But also finding out, the information on Mike Brown and the different people that you're able to identify and tell me stories about. So this is fun. This is fun. Blowing us off. I'm not blowing you off. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? Look what you got me in an agitated state here. I'm anxious. I want to get going. I want to check this out. Sure. All the rest of you can go and look at those links and see everything that's on there. And we're just going to make Mark sit here all night and blab away about his life, for God's sakes, telling the same old stories over and over and over again. It's like I'm in hell. Not really. But yeah, I'm trying to say goodnight, people. It's not a case of, baby, it's cold outside. I really must go, but baby, it's cold outside. All right. I may just have to hang up on you. It's going to be one of those rude phone calls where I just slam the phone down and, I don't know, maybe ghost you if you're going to be that way. Or I'll see you tomorrow. I'm going to take Justice's advice and go Mac go. I'm going to look for that missing R. All right. Thank you for coming by, everybody. It's been fun. Everybody, oh my God, now more than ever, we must praise our moderator. Oh, what a remarkable job you do. Oh, Kelly, thank you so much. And we will see you again, likely tomorrow night. Bye.
What are your crimes, Mark? Yes, what are your crimes, Mark? Your crimes are hidden, they should be seen. Spin all out, Mark, and just come clean.